All right, folks, welcome. And as we usually do, I'll read to you the titles of the last seven daily inspirations. And then you guys can choose one of them and we can start from there. Okay, so November 24th, healing the world by healing our thoughts. November 25, fear and anxiety as aids, not adversaries. November 26th, you can feel alone, but you can't be alone. November 27th, self-judgment and anxiety. November 28th, from why me to thank you, gratitude in tough times. November 29th, mercy. November 30th, the power of listening to yourself through others. And December 1st, thinking your way to peace and joy. Any of those interests?
They all sound so good. Can we do like a couple of them?
We can try, yes. Would you like to start somewhere?
What about the one on gratitude?
Gratitude. Okay, from why me to thank you?
Yeah.
To the tough times? All right.
Mhm.
All right. This is November 28th, daily inspiration from why me in quotes to thank you in quotes, gratitude in tough times. The condensed version, it's 2 paragraphs long. I'll go ahead and read the first 2 paragraphs and then I'll make a couple comments on it. We can go from there. Okay. Just mute there. Okay. How many times in our life have we woken up with the distinct goal of dedicating our day to gratitude? Doesn't this sound like a useful healing opportunity, tool, and path? In this time of Thanksgiving, let us dedicate this day to gratitude. In every moment that we can remember to do so, let our goal be to make gratitude our constant response and companion. Imagine our mindset and day, how our mindset and day would shift to a more joyous and peaceful state if we began to make gratitude our response to everyone and all that comes our way. Today, let us not judge situations, ourselves, and others, and keep asking, in quotes, why me? As the ego has programmed us to do. Instead, let us trust in the sacred nature of the journey that we have co-created with God. To do so, let us teach ourselves to reply to each moment in interaction by thinking or saying, in quotes, thank you. End of paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Today, it may seem like we're being asked to try out a very small shift in our attitude and mindset. Yet, if we truly realize the transformational power of what we're being asked to do, it would forever change our life. Today, if we respond with, in quotes, why me? Let that become a sign to us that the ego's past programs are in control of our thinking and thus of our mind and life. Yet, when we consciously respond with, in quotes, thank you, that will show us that it is finally the truth in us that is in control of our thoughts and thus of our mind and life. Gratitude, as an expression of the love that God is a reflection of our eternal loving essence and nature. Gratitude is a sign of one who is in alignment with the mind of God. Today, gratitude will help us depart the darkness of the ego's judgment-centric, fear-based mindset, and by doing so, become the light of the world that God created us all to be. End of paragraph 2. Okay, so this is a relatively simple daily inspiration, but I think it's a very useful one. Partially because how many times have we ever woken up and said, you know what? Today, I'm going to dedicate this day to gratitude. To no matter whatever interaction I have or whatever thing I experience, my response to it is going to be, thank you. So what if you made a conscious decision before your day started to respond to any individual who comes to your mind or comes to your presence, your response to them after all is said and done is going to be thank you. Because I know you're here in my life or in my mind to help me let go of thoughts that I no longer want and instead align with thoughts align me with gratitude. Because gratitude is just an expression of love, just like forgiveness is, compassion is, kindness, mercy, grace, gratitude. These are all expressions of love. So anytime you're expressing gratitude, you're in alignment with the mind of God. And so when you're in alignment with the mind of God, you naturally feel at peace. And you naturally feel fulfilled. And why? Why do you feel fulfilled and at peace? Because you're in essence doing what God created you to do, to be a light in the world. And sometimes the light takes a form of gratitude. And so today, anytime the ego, let's say you have an interaction and your ego says, judge this person for X or Y thing they said. You know what? That's not your job today. Just stop your ego's uh, recommendation. Just consciously stop it. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm here to do today. Today, I'm going to dedicate it to gratitude. And just say, okay, if my ego is saying to judge my brother right now, what is really happening? What is really happening right now? Why should I have gratitude towards my brother? Okay, my brother is offering me the opportunity to practice remembering that I can forgive him instead of judge him, and thus I can have peace instead of pain. Pardon me. And so your brother is offering you the opportunity to let go of your delusions and come back into alignment with the mind of God. And so if that's what your brother is truly doing, then obviously the proper response to your brother is gratitude. Or let's say somebody cuts you off in traffic, right? Your ego would say, judge that person because that person is irresponsible or he's not careful enough or not whatever enough, right? Okay, but why should you be grateful to that person? First, because we're practicing gratitude today. And second, because that person in reality is offering you an opportunity to forgive him instead of condemn him, and thus to have peace on your way to work or your way home instead of pain. And so that's the service that your brother or sister is offering you, is the opportunity to come back into alignment with the mind of God through the expression of gratitude, and thus feel at peace and feel fulfilled and feel joyful. And so that's roughly what this daily inspiration is, you know what? Why not wake up tomorrow morning and say, you know what? I'm going to dedicate this day to gratitude. How many times today can I be grateful to my brothers or sisters or to any situation that is happening to me? Because many, many, many times we have experienced situations or interactions that were useful to us in our life, but we never offered gratitude for them or for the people in them. We just did what the ego told us to do, and we judged that person as less than or whatever, not spiritual enough or not whatever enough. When in reality, all they were doing is offering you an opportunity to let go of your judgments and come back to peace, come back to center, and offer that compassion. And compassion is just another expression of love. It's just another expression of gratitude. And so it aligns you with who you truly are and your job here on earth, which is to be a light in the world in each interaction and in each situation. Any comments or questions?
A responses of a well-trained mind, you know. A well-trained mind is it's like someone, lashes at you, and then you go like, oops. At the beginning goes, okay, as human, I'm feeling it, but let me put it to the side. I can see I'm feeling with a need of respond. I feel like lashing out back, same way. feeling maybe as a little bit grateful because it's the side of my ego is there. It's imminent. I cannot it doesn't disappear. It's just, I guess we are training in a way that we raise higher so we can see what's going on. We can feel and sense and say, okay, Isabel, calm down. Yeah, I know you were used to in the past to interact same way. Now you know better. You can just, all right, embrace it. It's there. Let's put it aside. And now let's see how can we respond. What will be a loving thing to do? Now, sometimes in that very moment, I don't know. I don't feel like the need to respond at all. It has happened the other day. Someone sent me an email responding to an invitation that I did, about a client. I said, hey, your client is contacting you. And because I haven't gone through, I've been missing you. I've been, what? Someone that was in a relationship with me. I didn't introduce myself with what was expected probably. And then it was like, hey, it seems like you have already like move out or whatever. So in a response, but then it came something that I sensed it was anger there. I didn't respond. I was like, wow, I could, but I'm not deciding to respond. I think it's a little bit negative. And instead, I continue on adding about the client, and then I say, here is the number. If you need anything, contact me. And it turned out well because next day I receive again, it was a softer email about, yes, I interacted. Yeah, I sent him an email and she hasn't responded yet. Monday is going to be blah, 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 So it changed it just by itself. The energy shift just by not interacting. I think it's one of the things, because they will go like, okay, to have a fight, we need two people. To dance a tango, we need two people. One of them when I want to dance with the other one is just doesn't move a feet. There's no tango. There is no two to tango. So in these arguments and fights that we may have, I have experienced in the past, when I have interacted, the result was, of course, painful and then maybe knowing that next day or maybe in 3 days I will feel like I should have happened. I know I don't like it. Now it's like I don't like it right there. It's as I guess it's progress that I can decide not to interact. But it's a training, the mind that that we are training it to be responsive in a positive way, in a more loving way than when it was.
Yeah, so a good tip to get you to be more grateful, more consciously grateful, is you say it takes two to tango, right? So what you want to do is you want to tango proactively with gratitude. And so what you say to yourself is before any interaction, before the interaction actually happens, or before the event happens, you go into it proactively. You go into it with your tango partner being gratitude. And so you go, okay, I'm going to go into this interaction with person X or Y with gratitude as my companion and with gratitude as my goal. So now my goal becomes gratitude in this interaction. And so whatever happens in the interaction, you already have your goal set. And so in the interaction, if the ego begins to want to judge that person or whatever, you'll only have to remind yourself, okay, wait a second, what's my goal? My goal is gratitude. My goal is peace. And so whenever they start to trigger you or trigger something in you, you just consciously stop that line of thinking, remind yourself of your goal. My goal is gratitude. How do I get to gratitude? Maybe I can offer some sort of forgiveness to what the person said. You don't have to say it out loud. You can say it inside your heart. I forgive that person for whatever he or she said, because I know this person has really just offered me an opportunity to practice that I can choose gratitude in any situation. And if I can choose gratitude in any situation, I can have peace in any situation. And so what this person is really doing is helping me remember that I can have peace in any situation, any interaction. And so thank you, person X or Y, for reminding me that I can have peace right now, even though the ego says I should judge you or condemn you. or curse you or whatever to you, because you're not thinking like me, or you're not being like me, or you're not whatever, acting like I think you should act, or saying what I think you should say. It's really thinking or saying what you think the ego should think or say. Like your ego says, well, that person should, if that person doesn't think or say this way, then I'm going to judge that person. That's what the ego will recommend, okay? But where does that take you, that thinking? It's just another dead-end road. It never delivers to you the state of peace you want, right? And so if you judge your brother or sister, because we're all one, right? So when you're judging your brother or sister, you're condemning yourself. You're poisoning yourself with your own thoughts, okay? So you're never going to get to a state of peace if you're constantly, unconsciously punishing yourself with your own thoughts, okay? So now you want to become a little more conscious during the interaction, and you become more conscious during the interaction by having your goal already set. My goal is gratitude. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to light the world today, through the expression of gratitude, knowing that each brother and sister that I meet today is offering me the opportunity to remember that I can align with the mind of God, and thus I can become the light of the world that God created me to be. And so thank you, person X or Y, for helping me practice this. So yeah, tango with the gratitude before the interaction, and then you'll have a nicer dance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How do I interact in a positive way? I don't want to say I love you, because sometimes it's like, it's going to say, oh, no, you don't feel love. I do feel love. I don't want to go and trigger. But one of the things that I feel love. It was like, let me say thank you. You have responded to this client. Thank you so much. I know you're going to be able to assist her. It's the many ways that we can find gratitude, actually, even if it is in a negative, something negative. Thank you. I had an experience with a friend that he was invited to Thanksgiving and he was not responding. And he sent me a gratitude list saying, and thank you for forgiving me for not coming to your party. I was like, oh my God. He already know I have forgiven him. Thank you for forgiving me. I haven't, come to your party. And was like, yeah, and thank you that I know you will make it up. Anyway, it was funny.
Yeah, so that's the idea. You can do this. You can do the same thing with any of love's expressions, because gratitude is just one of love's expressions, right? So you can also do that with forgiveness. And so, today forgiveness I'm going to dedicate this day to forgiveness, or I'm going to dedicate this day to compassion. And so you go into every interaction with your goal already set. Which expression of delight do you want to be today? Okay, I want to practice being the expression of the light of compassion. Okay, so let me make compassion my goal for every interaction. And let me not make that goal during the interaction or after the interaction. Let me make the goal before the interaction. So I go into the interaction with my goal already set. My goal is compassion. My goal is to be a light in the world through the act of compassion. And so when you go into any interaction with your goal already set, then the interaction becomes a means to achieve your goal. And so the interaction itself becomes a sacred, because it's helping you align with your divine nature, who you came here to be. And so if each interaction during the day becomes sacred because you consciously made the decision to align yourself with love, an expression of love, then your whole day becomes sacred. Every interaction becomes sacred. And so what kind of world would you live in if every interaction you have is sacred and divine and filled with gratitude and compassion and understanding and mercy and grace? What kind of day would you experience?
A beautiful one. Peaceful.
Beautiful, yes. And then what kind of light would you shine to the world? What kind of example would you be for anybody who comes your way? You would become a light at the end of the tunnel for them. So whatever it is they're going through, if you become a light for them, they find a way out of their situation. They find a way out of their judgments, out of their anger, out of their resentment, and out of their pain, back to peace. Because they know that deep down inside, they know that they deserve peace. And so they want peace, no matter how much the ego is in control over the thinking, how much the ego is saying to judge the situation. What they truly want is peace. They might not recognize that consciously, but that's why you're there. You're there in each moment and interaction with a brother and sister because God has entrusted you with his child. And so God, well, anytime a person comes in front of you, okay, anytime a person comes into your presence, what does that mean? What does it mean when somebody else comes into your presence? It simply means that God is entrusting you with his children. So if God is entrusting you with his children, then you shouldn't doubt yourself that you can handle the situation with love. Because if God doesn't doubt you, then why should you doubt yourself? So God placed his child in front of you so that you can help him heal and awaken to who he or she truly is. So if God knows you can do it, and that's why he put his son or daughter in front of you, then take a breath, remember your purpose today, and fulfill it by simply being the light of the world that God created you to be. And so when that happens, when any brother or sister is in front of you, you know what? Give yourself a little pat on the back. Because that person wouldn't be in front of you in the interaction with you unless God decided that you were trustworthy enough to have them in your presence. Because if you don't trust somebody with your child, you're not going to send your child to that person, right? Nobody's going to send your child. You're never going to send your child to a person you don't trust. Okay? So each person that you meet is someone that God said, hey, I trust you with my child. Here you go. Lead them to a place of light and understanding. And when you do that, you feel fulfilled and joyful and at peace because you're doing what God created you to do. Any comments or questions? Anybody need a little shift from judgment and why me to thank you?
How do we protect ourselves in the process by, setting boundaries while still expressing gratitude and compassion going into the interaction?
Okay, remember, only love is truly real, right? Because God is love and all, right? And so only love is truly real. So when you're quote unquote trying to defend yourself against some illusionary thinking, you're defending yourself really against nothing. But the only reason that you think you need to defend yourself against whatever it is they think, say, or do is because you believe that what they think, say, or do is real and true. But if it's not real or true, then why do you need any defense against that? Why do you need a defense against somebody calling you X or Y type of person when you know that's not really true or real? And so all you have to do, you can set your self-loving boundaries by remembering simply that what person A or B is saying, if it comes from love, it's true. If it comes from a place other than love, it's not true. It's not real. It's not him or her. It's just the past programming who's intercepted their mind and is now communicating through them. But if you know that what they're saying is not really real or true, then what they're saying is not going to affect you. You're just going to say, well, their ego is in control of their mind right now. And so you simply protect yourself by knowing what's real and knowing what's not real, knowing what's true and knowing what's not true. Only the loving your brother or sister is true. Nothing else is true. Nothing else is real. And so by recognizing what's real and what's true, you set up your own loving boundaries. Any follow-up questions or?
But when you're saying we follow up, I mean, we set up these loving boundaries by knowing what's true. I'm still confused. We still have to, in a practical sense, have an interaction where, you know, if another person expecting something and, you know, you cannot deliver on it, where do we draw the line? How do we draw the line in loving, compassion, and grateful ways?
Well, one thing we usually talk about is do what brings you peace and you will have peace. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna do for this person whatever brings me peace. Sometimes there's gonna be an action, and sometimes there's gonna be an inaction. Okay. So if your brother or sister asks for something that does not bring you peace, you politely decline. You know, because you're that's not your job. Your job is not to reinforce the delusion as real. Your job is not to add darkness to darkness. Your job
Right.
is to add light to the darkness. And so you simply remind yourself that, I'm here to be a light in the world. This time through the act of peace. And so if my brother or sister is asking me to do something that does not bring me peace, then I apologize, but I'm not going to do it.
Mhm.
That's not your job. Your job is not to increase despair. Your job is to increase peace. Your job is not to increase darkness. It's to show people a way to peace, a way back to the light in them. And so sometimes saying no is the most loving thing you can say. So there's nothing wrong with saying no if you do it from a place of love and peace. And so if you do it from a place of love and peace and know its appropriate response, then say no. Comments or questions? Anybody having a why me moment this week and how we can help you shift it to thank you? Or anybody having an experience this week that seems a little bit rough, but you don't understand why you should be grateful for it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Hand up if I didn't click it fast enough from in my Hollywood Square here. It's an interesting experience I'm going through now, James. I connected with a woman in New York City that I haven't seen for a year and a half. We reconnected and we spent some time together 2 weeks ago in the city. We had a wonderful time and we agreed to continue. And this is I'm sharing this, even though honestly I'm embarrassed at the same time. She has not been quite the communicator that I had hoped she would be. So my ego has been coming at me left and right for the past 3 or 4 days, and really trying to spin, kind of a negative yarn on it, like saying, because I'm so used to things a certain way, because that's just what I've experienced my whole life as far as dating goes. And now I'm dealing with someone who has a different communication style, and I'm trying to basically square the circle. So I wanted to just get your opinion on that. I'm in a place now where my meditating has helped me get back to peace, and the Course in Miracles, some of the lessons I'm doing are helping as well.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think you just have to ask yourself, what would bring me peace in this situation? Okay, because your goal is peace. So you have to ask yourself, okay, is saying something about her communication style, is that something that would bring me peace? And can I say it with love? The answer is yes. Then you say something, and you're saying it out of love and compassion because you want the relationship to continue. And so there's nothing wrong with communicating in a way that it's honest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're being honest and being loving with your expression of how you're feeling, then go ahead and do that. You don't want to, obviously, you don't want to come up from a place of judgment and anger and resentment and feeling a lack of self-worth. You just want to be honest with her and say, uh, maybe I can use a little more communication in the situation.
And listen, I appreciate that. That I get, like coming from a place of love, the course has taught me, as long as I come from that place, that's the miracle. Beyond the extension of that is above my pay grade. How she reacts to that will be the tell as to whether she receives it appropriately and where she is in her ego at the moment, right? So for me, it's more the internal battle of the old programming, the old wound, where when you're not heard as a child, when you're not loved as a child in a way that you feel validated, your ego develops, mechanisms to keep you going. But later in life, you don't need those because you have your connection to God now, and you replace that quote unquote protector with the appropriate wisdom and your higher power working with you. So it's really been the old dog barking, you know, that's been, I would say, the biggest struggle. And I listened to Eckhart Tolle on the way back tonight, and he was just had some wonderful words to say. So I've been getting wonderful connections through the work I'm doing, and you just happen to be next on the list. So I always come to I look to those who I respect and that I know whose hearts are true, and I like to get some wisdom when I can.
All right. Okay. Now these past programs are always going to come to mind, right?
Hmm.
They don't just dissolve into nothingness. The ego doesn't go quietly into the night, right?
Yes.
It's always going to be there, chipping away at you. And there's something to be grateful for there, because whatever it is that you're experiencing, whatever thoughts you're having, whatever past programming you're repeating, it's there because it's still there, right? It's
Yes.
still somewhere in your emotional and spiritual body, those false beliefs, right? So this woman is helping you see what false beliefs you're still carrying within that you need to heal. Okay, so now you can start to maybe see her with a little more sense of gratitude, because what is she really doing right now?
She's my teacher.
Right, she's showing you that you're still holding on to some false beliefs within you that are polluting your call it polluting your relationship, your the holy instant.
Mm.
You're dragging your stuff from the past onto the now, and so you're creating so you're not even experiencing the now as God is offering it for you to experience. All you're doing is dragging that stuff from the past into the now, and then what happens? You create a future like your past, and then you never really experience the now as God created you to experience and enjoy. So whenever those little past programmings start bubbling up in your mind, those past programmings that say I'm not worthy of being heard, or she doesn't respect me enough to hear me, or whatever it is that the ego has convinced you of, just remember that's not real and that's not true. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
God is sending you the exact person that you need right now. And so if this moves forward or does not move forward, that's really, in essence, not truly important. Okay? You and her are going to be together to help each other heal. And then once the healing is done, you might continue together or you might separate. But she's here for you to help you see that you're still holding on to some past programming that's polluting your current relationship. And so now you have to simply figure out, okay, when that past programming starts polluting my mind, I just have to practice consciously ending my relationship with that past programming. And you do so by recognizing the past programming and then stopping it in its tracks and saying, no, I'm not going to dedicate any more of my time, focus, and energy to you, meaning to your past programs. And so I now recognize that my sister is here to help me heal. And in this moment, it's helping me heal. And so I offer gratitude to my sister for this. And so she's doing exactly what she needs to do to help you heal and awaken. And so she's doing exactly what she needs to do to help you heal and awaken, and you recognize that, your only response to her is going to be gratitude. No matter if she communicates today or tomorrow or the next day. Because whatever she's doing is exactly what you need right now. And so you'll see that once you start to let go of your past programs, then it will seem like she's hearing you more. When in reality, she's being the same exact person. It's just
Yeah.
your perception of her and your perception of yourself shifted. And so it's not saying that okay, I'm worth less because that person is not speaking to me each and every hour or each and every day. You know, it's not because of that. She's offered me an opportunity to heal and remember that I'm perfectly worthy. And God is always sending me the perfect person so that I can grow, heal, and awaken. And if she is not that person, then she's preparing me for that person.
Mm.
And if she's that person, hey, great, amazing. But if she's not that person and she's preparing you for that person, then why would your response to her be anything other than gratitude? Okay.
Amen.
And so simply practice recognizing when you're out of alignment with who you truly are, which is the love that God is. You are perfect exactly as God created you. God, being perfection, does not create imperfectly. And so you are perfect right now, exactly as you are, no matter what the ego says, no matter what CRAP the ego is trying to bring from the past into the present. Okay? You're meant to be in this holy instant. Okay? In the holy instant, it's free from the past and it's free from the future. You're just in the now. And in the now, you're in alignment with the mind of God through the act of compassion and gratitude and understanding and mercy and grace and peace and joy. And so just learn to recognize when you're truly in control of your mind and thinking is when you have peace. When you lack peace, it's because your past programming is in control.
Mm.
And so don't punish yourself when that happens. Just practice recognizing when you are not in control of your own mind. And so when you have that sense of chaos, that sense of lack, that sense of unworthiness, that just means that the ego is in control of your mind. And so use those moments not to dive deeper into the darkness, not to continue to judge yourself or others, but instead to recognize, wait a second, I am not in control of my mind right now. And therefore I cannot be the light of the world if I'm not in control of my mind. I'm just going to keep on repeating past patterns if I do this. So I consciously stop the line of thinking, align myself with forgiveness for myself, forgiveness for my sister, and trusting in source and saying, source, my sister's going to communicate exactly when she needs to communicate with, and I put this relationship in your hands. and thy will be done. And the thing is that your highest will and God's will are one. So when you're saying to God, thy will be done, you're in essence saying, may my highest will be done. And so you're going to get exactly what you need from this relationship by putting it in God's hands. And well, what's putting it in God's hands? Putting it in the hands of love, of forgiveness, of mercy, of grace, of compassion, of understanding. And so that's all you need to do.
So it's really worthy to worthy, you know. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was just what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Yes, and remember, everybody is always at their highest level of consciousness, right? So everybody's always doing the best they can. And so she's got her own issues. Just like we all have our own issues, right?
Yeah.
And so she's doing the best she can with her past and dealing with her ego, right? And so our job is just to have a little more compassion for her process and knowing that she has co-designed a perfect journey with the divine, and so too have I. And I'm placing this relationship in God's hands. And again, if you feel at peace, communicating that you would like more communication, because X or Y reason, it's perfectly fine to say that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
James, could you remind us what light of the world means?
Well,
Please.
the light of the world is simply being in alignment with the mind of God. Okay, because we came into this world to bring light, to bring understanding into the confusion, to bring clarity into the confusion, bring peace into the chaos, bring light into the darkness. Okay, that's our job. And so we are the creations of the capital light, L. And so we are his creations, right? And so we are, in essence, the light of the world. God allowed us to come here, and we chose to come here to be a light in every situation, in every interaction. That's our job, quote unquote, our job, our purpose. And each moment in interaction is to be the light of the world, the light in that relationship. And so when the situation seems to be a place of judgment, we're there to show people a way to peace, maybe through the act of forgiveness. When the situation is there's anxiousness and chaos in the situation, maybe we're there to be a light for them in a way to show them that if they trust God more, they have more peace. And so in each and every situation, we're there to be the light in the situation and interaction. And it's only when we're being the light in the situation and interaction, that's the only time that we truly feel fulfilled, because we're doing what God created us to do, to be the light of the world. And so that's what's meant by being the light. We're that light at the end of the tunnel for others. And the light has many expressions, such as peace, joy, compassion, forgiveness, kindness, charity, grace, mercy. All that are reflections of the light. So anytime we're being an expression of love, we're being an expression of the light inside of us. And the more we do so, the more comfortable we feel in that place. And the more comfortable we feel in the place, the more we realize, you know what? Yeah, this is what I'm here to do. Any comments or questions?
Yeah,
All
I'll
right,
be
and
like one of my students. What I miss. Just kidding. Just kidding. I don't expect you to reteach it. Isn't that irritating? That's what they do when they come in late. What I miss.
yeah.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, the class is always on video at 5 o'clock the next day, so you don't miss anything if you don't want to miss anything.
Thank you, James.
Yes. How's your week going, Wendy?
My week is beautiful.
Good.
I
Very
know.
nice.
Does it sound like me? I'm not complaining. Nobody knows me when I'm like this.
Any places in your week that you need a little more gratitude? Like gratitude can come in?
Well, funny you should say that. Um, I think we can. I was just talking to Eric the other day, and I told him, I feel a lot of deep gratitude most of the time, but my issue is feeling gratitude when negative things are happening. So I'm having a couple of medical scares right now, not feeling very grateful about that. I'll feel grateful when they tell me I'm okay, those kinds of things. But I don't have any issues with people right now, happily, including my beautiful daughter.
That's nice.
All is well. So I'm
Yes.
grateful.
Yes, a lot of times life will throw you what appears to be a curveball, but when it comes to curveballs, all you have to do is wait, and then you hit it out of the park. So everything is going to be okay. Everything is divinely designed by love, and love will lead the way. And what you can do is anytime you have a sense of a lack of peace because of a medical situation or because of whatever else that's taking away your peace, is you can say, okay, this moment is being offered to me right now so I can practice developing a greater trust in God, a greater trust in the divine design, a greater trust in the design that I have co-created with God for my healing and awakening and for the healing and awakening of this world. And so this situation, all it's offering me is the opportunity to remember that in any moment or interaction or situation, I can choose peace. There's a thing called in the medical world is scanxiety, where you get a scan done for X or Y reason, and then you have to wait like a week for the results or whatever. And so you can wait for the results with anxiousness and fear and doubt and worry, or you can say, you know what, I'm placing this in God's hands, and whatever will be will be, and I'm at peace whatever happens. I'm going to trust that God is in control. And so during this week, every time anxiety comes into my mind, I'm going to make a conscious decision to stop that line of thinking because it never delivers to me the peace that I want or the joy that I want. I'm going to consciously stop it. And instead, I'm going to consciously choose to trust God more. And so this situation, this anxiety or this health issue or whatever it is that comes your way, all it's doing is helping you remember that God has your back and that all will be okay. There's no such thing as time, and that we all come here for a purpose. And you know what? Once that purpose is done, it's done. We move on to a much lovelier place. I can promise you that.
Oh, I like when it's promises.
Yes, that's a promise.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I don't really like get infused with anxiety thinking about it, but what tends to happen, I assume this is the ego, but I don't really know what it is my brain will just sort of switch off into I would call it fantasizing, except none of it's good. You know what I
right.
mean? It's like I'm told I have whatever I have. I don't have any hair anymore. I imagine maybe some nice things with people who love me being around me, but none of it feels particularly like something I would want, but it sort of just plays like a movie in my head. I would like to shut that down, but I often don't notice it until I'm like halfway through. Like it just sort of clicks on. Is that ego? I don't really know what that is.
Yeah, that's ego. That's ego. That's anything that comes with fear is ego. So all you want to do is don't punish yourself for that, for having those thoughts. Just practice catching yourself quicker and quicker when you're out of alignment with the state of peace. That's your only job right there. practice catching yourself quicker and quicker when you lack peace. Oh, wait a second. I'm having anxious thoughts, or I'm having anxious fantasies about what could happen. This way of thinking never delivers to me the peace and joy that I want and that I deserve as God's child in creation. And so I will no longer support thoughts that don't support me. I'm done. I'm done supporting thoughts that don't support me. I'm done supporting thoughts that lead me to a place of anxiousness and fear. I'm done. Enough. Okay? So you consciously stop that line of thinking and you offer it no more of your time, focus, and energy. You say, stop. That's enough. Enough. I'm not going to use this situation, and I'm going to place it fully in God's hands. And in doing so, I will achieve the state of peace. And so you do that over and over and over again, and guess what happens? You spend less and less time in the darkness, less and less time in the anxiousness and fear, less and less time in the fantasies and fairy tales. Okay? And so all that situation did for you was help you realize that that's not what you want. That's not a line of thinking that you want to support. So thank you, health issue or whatever, for helping me practice recognizing that at any moment I can take back control of my mind and thinking and thus life by stopping thoughts that do not support the life I want, and instead putting that time, focus, and energy on those thoughts that will give me the life I want, that will bring me more peace and joy in my life, that will develop a greater trust in the divine. And so all your life is doing is helping you practice realizing that I don't have to spend any more time supporting thoughts that don't support me, period.
Thank you. I think I can also, I'd like to like pick one of the lines from the course or from the lessons when I'm trying to reverse that. And I think the
Okay.
best I can think of for this is I am safe in my defenselessness.
Yes.
Unless you got a better one. That's the one that's coming to mind right now. Do you have a better one?
Well,
About
I
I
can
rest
shift.
in God.
Yes, I can shift that one, and because there's a specific lesson in the Course in Miracles that says, "In my defenselessness, my safety lies."
Yeah, that's the one I meant.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
That's a good one for this.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Because you don't have to defend yourself against something that's not real or true. So when you recognize, I don't have to defend myself against this because I know it's in God's hands, and God always wants me to experience the peace and joy that He created me to be. And so when I place whatever this is in God's hands, I have peace. And so I don't have to defend myself against something that I'm already giving over to God. Yeah.
James.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on Wendy's situation? Or on any time where the mind is trying to take control of your day? Thank you for a little love from Eric. Love is good.
I couldn't make the heart any bigger, so I had to take what they gave me.
Yes.
Can I comment something
Yes.
about what
Yes.
Eric was mentioning of his girlfriend or of potential girlfriend?
Okay.
I was in a situation where, yeah, my girlfriend was very talkative, very communicative, a lot to the point that I will be stressed because, yeah, and good topics, many times good topics, very heavy, very, I'm sorry, very like, nurturing knowledge, metaphysics, in a lot of stuff. But sometimes we will lose the momentum of being romantic, of really being intimate, because it become sometimes moments where she will be anxious and angry about things, our life, about how unjust, how so many things are happening in life. You see, these fights or, these situations that's going on, or the racism, or So it will be like a lot of communication, but the sweetness will go to less and less and less. So it will come to a point that to me it was like, we need quality more than quantity of communication. Sometimes we may say less, but it is substantial, it is something that connects mostly our hearts, because we work solving issues, taking decisions, taking care of clients, and doing things, financial, potential losses, or liabilities, taking care of things, So it's like we are, yes, in the admin part, micromanaging, managing things, and the moment that we're together is like for sweetness, for niceness, for connection, for romance, for like, touch, hands, kiss, something different, candles, incense, get together, lay down, it's different. So we came to a point where it was, less of the communication, more of the romance, more of because it has somehow we both communicated what we want, right? Our needs. So she finds her needs met. She found her needs met in a way that it was satisfying, but myself as well found my needs met in a way that was more of the hands on the touch, on the connection, on the love. And the other person was more into the, communicating, talking. Because happens that sometimes some people need to talk, as that's how a way of bringing what is in their mind a lot. And there is ways to do. We are not the only one. We cannot be the friend, the lover, the communicator, the teacher, the student, everything. There is friends. There is more people, there is mother and father and so on, who they, find ways also to talk and verbalize things. And then when you are with your girlfriend, Erin, if it is an opportunity to understand, what her needs are, what is her love language, same yourself, what's my love language, what really matters, because we can always have friends to communicate. And it was for a long time an issue, because she may complain like, oh my God, I have a lot of talking with a friend. Oh my God, I have 2 hours talking. And she was super happy. She had 2 hours talking with a friend. She had 2-3 hours talking with someone that she, over the phone. I cannot handle 2-3 hours in the daytime. I'm busy, I'm working, so we have other needs. And then, of course, like after dinner or early morning, things like that. Nothing wrong. We have different styles of communication. Some could be more anxious, attached, different styles of attachment, some of them more avoidant or more safe, whatever. But seeing the value, what is really connecting, what is really, the thing that it's attracting to you. Being different is nice. Being different is attractive. Sometimes we are both communicate a lot. It will be satisfying only for that point, but then everything else may not. So yeah, see if if you really like her and has other things that it's clicking in your mind and your heart. It'd be nice to continue, the communication with her in a level that is also satisfying.
Sure. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're just it's early. It's very early. So coming from the lens of love is the plan here. And as you do that, then you start to kind of settle in with how you interact with each other. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All righty. Any final comments or questions before we close? All right. So we decided to talk about gratitude. So let's try that this week sometime. Let's wake up with the decision to make gratitude our constant companion. And let's see how many times we can be grateful tomorrow or the next day. And go into the situation with your goal already set. In this case, gratitude. All right, folks. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, James. Appreciate
Thank
you.
you, James. Thank you
James.
so much.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, everybody.
See you guys soon.
Beautiful.
Love y'all. Take care.
God willing, we'll see each other soon. Take care.
Bye.
See you
Bye.
Wednesday.